Hey everyone, I'm here with the lovely Leonie Dawson, who's one of my absolute business idols, and we're going to be having a bit of a chat today about how you can actually market your business without social media and some of the advantages of it. And Leonie is absolutely amazing. She's the author of the Goal Getter Workbook and planners, and has an awesome following there, and has some of the most amazing courses I've done. And she's just an amazing person. So I'll let Leonie introduce herself, but go ahead, Leonie. It's lovely to have you.
Oh, you're a babe. Thanks, Jess. It's lovely to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm Leonie. I'm delighted to make your acquaintance. I hope this will be the beginning of a fun and lifelong journey together of learning and experiencing all kinds of life and business stuff. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I've been blogging since 2004. I've brought in over $11 million online through my programs and my books. And I just talk shit on the internet. When people say, what do you do for a living? I say, I talk shit on the internet. That's what I do. And it's the best job in the world.
I love that. And sometimes that's the fun way to do it. Like, we all take business so seriously sometimes. And when you could just do your own thing and make it yours, it really comes across in a good way, I think.
And it's so much more fun to do for yourself as well. Like, you could do it in like in a very boring and staid way and try and be professional, blah, 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 blah. Or you could just delight yourself and, you know, really embrace your creativity and fly that freak flag of yours. And have a rip-roaring time as you do. And people will either like be completely attracted to that or totally repulsed. And either way, it's great. You'll find your people that really resonate with you.
Mm-hmm. And you'll end up with the best clients from that because they resonate with you. You're getting rid of all the people that would be a bore to work with and everything.
Yeah, that's it. And like the shit clients, like I just don't have shit clients because they're repulsed by me.
Definitely one way to do it. And
yeah.
I think it's good. Like, I just think that connection goes so much deeper when you have those good clients, and you can help people on a better level when you have that connection.
This is true. And also, like, I don't have to, I don't have to serve everyone. I can just serve the people who I'm a really good fit for. And I can share and teach in the way that is like makes the most sense for me and for those people. It's not going to be the perfect fit for everybody, and it doesn't need to be. Nobody's ever going to be the perfect fit for everyone.
That's true. That's something I sometimes have to remind clients of when I'm working with them around, like, it's okay for your copy and the way you show up online to turn people off. Like, when you think about how many clients you want to work with over the course of the year, you don't need to serve every single person in the world. It's okay to find those right people you want to be serving.
Yeah, this is it. And Michael Port wrote a great book called Book Yourself Solid. It's been out for 1 billion years now. But one of the things he talks about is having a red velvet rope in your business where you only allow certain clients in, and you say no to others who aren't going to be the right fit for you. And so it seems counterproductive that to have a fully booked client base, you need to start firing clients or, saying no to some clients. But it really is the only way that you can open up your energy and, get those brilliant results is by being more selective.
Definitely. I found the same thing. And when you connect with someone, it's easy, it's fun, it feels good. Everyone's happier, you get better results. There's just so many benefits to not working with the clients that drain your life from you.
It's true. It's true.
And have you always been this comfortable, like, showing up as yourself and being completely authentically you in how you write and show up online?
I think so. And I think it's also a muscle that you build over time. You're like, oh, what if I say this? How is that going to go? I feel, maybe you feel a bit scared, but I've noticed that every time I feel vulnerable about sharing something, enormous blessings come from it anyway. So like when I went through postnatal depression and anxiety with my first daughter, I I remember someone saying to me, oh, one day you'll write about this. And I was like, no, I will never, ever tell anyone that I am going through this. And a year later, I was, in a much different place and a better place. And I knew it was time to share that journey. And the messages I received back were so beautiful, and people still felt so held and understood. And it also just enormously healed me as well to write about it and share about it. So I definitely share a lot more stuff, especially like mental health stuff and the difficult times, because I know what a gift it can be to me and to others.
I love that. And I've had a similar experience. It's only now 4 years after having my son that I feel like I can talk about like the mental side of it, and the fact that I struggled with becoming a mum. I thought it would be so much easier than it was, but having postnatal anxiety and a traumatic birth experience and everything, it's hard in the moment, but once you have that perspective, things shift.
Yeah. And we have, like, it's so important to know, like, we're not alone in it, that our story is a part of, a canon of women and people who give birth, and their stories. It's enormous.
Yeah, definitely. And especially around traumatic experiences and things like depression and anxiety and mental health, those kind of taboo topics and everything. Like, I'm seeing more people open up about it, and like it feels much better being able to talk about it and not feel so alone. So yeah, I love that.
It's important. It's just so important, and it feels so much better in here to know that there's no shame attached to it. It's like, this is what happened, and this is why, and there's completely legitimate and important reasons why my body and mind reacted in those ways, and that's okay.
I love that. And I love that you talk about so many different types of topics. So mental health is one part of it, and everything, but you've also spoken a lot about your fairly recent diagnosis with autism and things like that. Like, you're not you don't hold back from the harder topics, and I really love that, because especially working in an office, I've struggled with finding my voice and everything, but I really appreciate that you share so much of your life and make it feel like it's okay to be ourselves online. Sometimes it can be so scary, but yeah, I love that transparency you have and how open you are.
Well, I think, like, the only reason I discovered that I have autism and ADHD is because, I had friends who had written in their blogs about getting their diagnosis and how it presents differently in women and their experience. And for me, like, I'd never ever considered that I had autism, and it was only like in reading their stories that I was, and and when friends did disclose that they had autism diagnoses, I was like, this doesn't look like what I thought autism was supposed to be, because our understanding of autism culturally is how men present as with autism, not females. It's very different. And so the only way that I found out that I was autistic was because of other people's bravery. And so the least I could do was pay that forward. And I know a lot of people have received, later in life diagnoses because of me. And it's really important to receive those diagnoses, because it feels like everything begins to make sense then.
Yeah. I could definitely understand that. We're going through some challenges with my little one, and that's when I started to realize a lot of the traits that the daycare says are autistic traits in children are things that I've gone through, and I'm like, now I'm wondering if I have it and everything. And just following along with you and everything, I've become a lot more okay with it. Like, I did struggle with it a bit and everything, but I'm pretty certain I have ADHD as well. And that had never ever occurred to me at all in my life. That's only like something I've realized in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, I have like so many traits from it. But it's interesting, like, I feel so much better, like, even without a diagnosis, like, just understanding that my brain works differently sometimes, and it's okay. So, like, a lot of it has become my strength as I've gotten older and everything. So yeah, it's been really interesting.
it is an enormous blessing, like to be neurodivergent. Like, it always makes me laugh when anti-vaxxers are like, you could get autism. And I was like, you wish you could get autism from a needle, because it's fucking awesome. Like, to be autistic is fucking awesome. If I was given the option to be neurotypical, I'd be like, hell no, thank you. Real gross. Goodbye. No, I like this brain. I like this existence. And sure, it comes with like certain challenges of living in a neurotypical world, but guess what? The neurotypical people aren't having a great time of it either. So it's like, I so appreciate the gifts that this has given me and the different insights that it gives me. And I feel very blessed. And like, I knew that I was autistic maybe 6 years before I got formally diagnosed. And self-evaluation is a really critical and important part of the tool, because it's very difficult for females to get diagnosed. The literature is just not at that point, and diagnosing psychiatrists still don't have access to the latest information about female autism and ADHD. And also, if you are, I should say that if you have autism, you almost certainly have ADHD. There's a 75% comorbidity rate. So if you've got one, you've probably got the other. And what's more, there's more research that's coming out that says they may potentially be the same thing. It's just they present differently to the outside world. So that
makes sense to me, to be honest.
Right? That blew my mind.
But we need neurodivergent people because we need that diversity and creativity in the world. Like, our brains work differently. We think of different solutions. We explore things from a different angle. The world needs that. And like, I've come from a banking background and everything, where everyone's pretty similar in the workforce, and sometimes you need those different ideas to come in and spice things up and make life more interesting and come up with the creative solutions that others miss. So it's definitely a strength.
It really is. And when you look at all of like the really well-known entrepreneurs and people who've made significant contributions to society, the vast majority of them are neurodivergent. Like the vast majority are neurodivergent. So it's not just a nice to have, it's actually critical.
Yeah, and a lot of the best artists and everything did as well. So and inventors and everything. So it plays way back.
Yeah, Richard Branson's very open about him having ADHD. And there's more and more who are sharing about it, and I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's nice to see it coming out in the open and people being able to celebrate the differences from it. It's a good thing.
Yeah, we're the lucky ones. Woo woo! It's like having a Ferrari brain. I say it's like a Ferrari brain instead of a Camry brain. Sorry if you're neurotypical and you're like, this is so offensive. She thinks that neurodivergence are better. I'm not saying that, but you do get to live in a world that says like your brain is the right way to do it. We don't. And so I really want to uplift like the Ferrari brains that are ours.
I love that. So awesome. That's one of the things I've seen you share on your blog in the past. And I know you've blogged for a very long time. You said from 2004. I'd love to hear a bit about how and why you got started with that.
Sure. It kind of has its origins back when I was 16 and I sent myself to boarding school because I didn't feel like the state school that I was at was the right fit for me. So I told my parents, like, I'm either going to go overseas for a year as an exchange student or I'm going to boarding school. And they said, well, we prefer if you send yourself to boarding school. You sort that out. You choose what you want to go to. You have to get. We can't afford it, so you're going to need some scholarships. Anyway, so that all got organised. Went to boarding school, awesome, had a great time, so grateful that I went. And I lived in a dorm with 20 other girls and had an amazing art teacher who gave everyone art journals, like thick A4 art journals. And he was like, this has to be, the place that you explore, you play with all your ideas, like this is your new home. And I took that Yeah, I took him very much to heart, and I still use the exact same art journals that he used to give out. I'm very addicted to it now. Anyway, so when I would like do some work in my art journal, I would send it around the dorm. And so like, you know, and I would like sing out like, who's got my diary? And I'm like, it's over here. This is great. And it never occurred to me to make it like for it to be secret. I was always just like, fuck yeah, share it along. So I'm a very open kind of person. Like I will share my art journal. And it also excited me when I see other people start doing their art journals, because then I get to read it. And it was so inspiring. I just loved it. And so when I found out about blogs, I was like, oh my God, this is like the same thing, except instead of me sending my art journal around the dorm and then having to find it when I want to use it again, I can just like post shit online and people can read it as it's just like my diary. So I thought it was the greatest invention that had ever happened. And very rapidly, you know, fell in love. And, you know, it's nearly 20 years later or so. And it's still one of my favorite hobbies, and it's kind of what I built my business on in a lot of ways.
I love that. And I can see where your style with your websites come from based on that. Like you have a very artistic and beautiful website, like with all your doodling and everything on there. I love it. It's just really unique. And now I understand why, like the art journal side of things is, and even with your planners, I think it all ties in so beautifully.
Yeah, it's got to feel like handmade, and I don't want it to feel too polished. Like it's still got to have like that essence of someone just with some glue and some scissors and some paint just whacking some shit together, because that's fun.
Yeah, I love that about your courses as well. You have a lot of illustrations and things like that throughout, and it's just fun to follow along. It's not your usual slides and everything that most people have. It's just really beautiful to look at and colorful and bright and happy. And
thank you. Sometimes like I'm like, this was an idiot idea to hand illustrate and hand draw 130 slides for a course, but then I'm like, but it's also very fun. So it's a lot more work for me, but it's also a lot more fun. So I don't care. I like the handmade like part of it, and just that it looks kind of wonky and unique, and you're not going to get like other courses that look the same.
Or other websites that look the same as well. Like you're going to stand out from everyone else because it's so beautiful and unique.
Oh, bless. Thank you. And like, this is it. Like I sometimes like I feel like websites all start looking the same at a certain point. And I didn't want it to look like, I don't know, like a hashtag girl boss website with, you know, like the gold glitter and the carefully styled white desk with the minimalist objects. Like I am very maximalist. I have shit everywhere. I like a lot of color. I don't like monochrome stuff. So I was like, more color, more things, more outlandish.
That's awesome. I love it. And I think more of us need to stand out more with our websites as well. Like our website should reflect us. And sometimes if you don't have like beautiful branding and beautiful photos and everything that are yours, sometimes it is easy to blend in when you're using stock photos and things like that. Everything becomes a bit the same. And I know I have stock photos on my website. I'm guilty of that.
Like we all do. Like it's like, how can you like incorporate more of your you-ness into it? It's beautiful, you know.
That's what people connect with, when it's really you on the other end.
Yeah.
And your website's a big part of how you market your business. So I'd love to hear a bit more about how you use your website for that side of things and how it's helped you grow your business over time.
Sure. So, you know, for me, like a lot of people now just think, oh, well, you know, if I have an Instagram profile or Facebook profile or whatever, that's what's going to build my business. That's where I set up my home on the internet. And I'm like, that is a fucking terrible place to set up your home on the internet. No, that is not. If you were going to run a business online, you need a damn website, and you need one yesterday. And, you know, even when you're starting out, like you don't necessarily need to do like the full design. Like, sure, you'll probably go through a design, like redesign processes later with the design professional. But even if you just start off with Squarespace or whatever, something to begin with, and then you can build out from there. You need to have something where people can come find your contact details, find out who you are, what you sell, and then you can start building that know, like, and trust factor with people. And you might include a blog on that. Blogs are really useful because they become like a central depository for everything you create. So even if you're using social media marketing, making sure that you you put that content onto your website as well, so that you can attract like the search engine traffic, and that you also have a place like that's yours to keep, because social media companies will die. We've all been like seen so many go the way of the dodo now. You need to have that place that is yours, and that you can get people onto your mailing list, take them through that customer journey, and get them buying your shit.
Yeah, I agree. And I've known so many people who have had their Facebook and Instagram hacked, and I've only ever heard of one person ever being successful getting their account back. And if you only have your followers on Instagram or on Facebook and you lose your account, there goes your business. You're basically starting from scratch. And we put so much time and effort into that content for Facebook and Instagram, yet it disappears in a couple of hours. Like the algorithms stop showing it. Whereas if it's on your website, I have a blog post I wrote 2 years ago now, and I still get the majority of my traffic from that. And like, it has a much longer life span when it's on your website. So I'm kind of the opposite opinion to like every social media person I know. I think start with your content on your website. And if you want to use social media, repurpose it out from there. Have your pillar piece on your website.
Absolutely agree. Like it's because, and it's like when you can get accounts hacked, but they can also just change the algorithm, or you can get locked out of your account, or they can decide that you've posted too much, or whatever the heck. Like I have known people's businesses who've just blown up overnight because they've been locked out of their access to social media. It's not your place. Like you don't own it. They don't give a fuck about you. Social media companies don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a shit about how it blows up your business.
They just want the money at the end of the day.
That's right.
What you're
exactly
paying.
Right. And you are one of 7 billion, nobody cares. So you need to build your castle on lands that you own, and that is your website.
Yeah, I love that. It's definitely something like I've got sucked into the social media world over the last few years, and I have to say, like, I'm feeling burnt out from it, because it's like you have to constantly be showing up to be noticed at all. And it's burnout central, I have to say. So yeah, I think
you need to be very clear about where your actual sales are coming from. Like, are you actually getting clients from here? Or are you getting them from one blog post that you wrote 2 years ago?
Yeah, for me, it's that one blog post from 2 years ago, or one particular Facebook membership one particular membership I'm in that has a Facebook component, and that's all referrals through there. So if I know they're my two sources, why am I bothering showing up in a heap of Facebook groups and everything? Like, when you know where it's coming from, you can double down.
I've got a friend who, like, after I looked at the statistics of where my sales are coming through and decided to shut down social media because it just isn't worth my time and money, she had a look and discovered that for a big part of her business, all of her sales came from search engine optimization. It was just people Googling a specific topic about her industry, and they would all hire her from there. And not one of them came from her social media. And she's like, and yet I spend maybe 6 hours a day on social media. Like, this is bullshit. This is so stupid.
It's crazy when you realize that, isn't it? Like, yeah, my traffic from social media is so low compared to from Google as well. So your website can really work when you put the effort in. And if you spent even a fraction of that time from social media and like Facebook and Instagram on content for your website, it's amazing the difference it would make.
An enormous amount of difference. And just to like continue to remind yourself, there's thousands of ways to market your business. Social media is just one of them. All of them are optional, and there are ways that are more powerful and potent than social media. Like, I just think social media is just such an enormous scam on our time and our money in a lot of ways.
I know what you mean. And you quit social media around 7 or 8 months ago now, would that be right?
Yeah, it was February, I think. So it's my business continuing to grow beautifully. I feel so much more sane, and my brain is healing. Without it, I don't see myself going back, honestly. Why would I? It feels like there's no net gain out of going back, but all of the benefit from staying off.
I love that. It makes a lot of sense to me. And after you quit, you created the Marketing Without Social Media workshop, and I freaking love going through that. I've been going through it lately, and it is amazing the amount of time and effort you've put into researching it. You have so many awesome resources in there, and just the tips around moving away, it just feels so much more doable and positive. And I'm hearing a lot from people that I speak to. We're all feeling burnt out from Facebook and Instagram. It's like a hamster wheel of trying to get stuff out there and engaging and everything. And yeah, I think it's amazing that you've created that resource for people.
Oh, geez. And like, it was one of those ones where I just asked people what they wanted. They're like, we all want to know that. That's what we want to know. Because I think there is this general consensus that people are realizing, like, actually, I think this is costing more than it's actually giving me. So redefining your relationship. And even if you do decide to stay on social media, like, I give a lot of tips on how to use it in a way that takes you much less time and earns you much more money, because you need to be strategic about it. You need to really like analyze, like, what is the core parts that I need to do, and what am I going to do to stop myself from getting roped into that endless loop, because that's the shithole part.
Definitely. And I think that's the part that has the big impact on your mental health too.
Yes, it is. Just like, even if you just start by like deleting the apps off your phone, and like you can go into your phone and also like change the websites. Change the websites that you don't want to give yourself access to, or you can get apps that do that, and it means that you just can't do that infinite scroll anymore. And if you decide to like use it, sure, go use it on a browser, but set a timer. So you're like, okay, I've got 5 minutes. I want to do this, this, and this in this time, and then get off and go enjoy your life and build your business in other ways.
I love that. It's so true though. Like the infinite scroll, I call it the scroll hole, because like it's like a black hole. You go in there to do one thing, and chances are you'll forget what you went on there to do if you're not intentional about it. And then 20 minutes after you finish on there, you'll be like, oh crap, I didn't do it, and have to go back. It's horrible.
Yeah. And like, it's not the fault of your brain. They've intentionally designed it that way to create that atmosphere. It's like they hire people who do the same in, poker machine halls and stuff like that. It's so that you lose all sense of time and you just keep on like looking for the lights, basically, and become hypnotized. So they absolutely hire people to work out brain hacks to ensure that you get sucked in. So it's not worth your time, and it's not worth your life.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am conscious of time, and I just wanted to throw out one last question, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I wanted to know if you had any tips around using your website for people, and using your blog as a marketing tool, like getting started with it or creating a successful blog. A couple of tips.
So think about your ideal clients and what questions they usually have, or what issues they usually come up against. And also, like, what's the process of working with you like? Because usually, like, even though so for example, in your business, you do website design. People have a lot of questions about, what does website design look like? How long does it take? What tools do you use to approve things? All that behind the scenes stuff that seems so basic to you, but it's completely novel and new information. You might want to share, like, here's some handy tips on how to choose a graphic designer, what you should be looking for, and what you should, like, what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the red flags? And you could have like really useful templates and resources. What you're doing is just making it so easy for people to make that decision about like hiring a graphic designer, what that process is going to look like. And of course, they're going to like build that know, like, and trust factor with you along the way and be like, I think I'll just go with Jess. Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, I love that. And I agree. Those tips, if you're getting asked that question from 1 or 2 people, there's other people that are going to be going to Google and typing that in. So I constantly remind people, if you're getting that question, people are typing that into Google, it's highly searchable, write that content and start getting traffic from Google from it. Like, make the most of it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Like, I mean, this is the thing, like with all the chat about social media and stuff, like, but people, like, search engine optimization doesn't work on Facebook, on your Instagram posts, on your TikTok, on anything. They're all hidden platforms. The amount of people who are using Google to search for a specific thing, to fix a specific problem, and they want to give you money for it. Google.
Yeah. Totally. And it's still like 60 or 70% of interactions with businesses start from a Google search. It's still some crazy high amount. So when you think about that, like, it's very minimal from Facebook and Instagram. We're generally not going on Facebook looking for something like that. We're going to Google and asking our questions we have. So
absolutely. I don't, like, when I've looked up a business, I've never gone to Facebook first. Like, I always go to Google first. And I'm always going to look for people who have websites over social media presences, because websites are professional, social media is not.
Yeah, and anyone can start social media. If you're putting in the effort into creating a kick-ass website, you instantly look a cut above the rest, because you have that presence there to support what you're doing and everything. It looks so much professional. It's easier for people to find the info they need. Like, try searching Instagram feed for information about someone's packages, and you'll be there for days.
True. And then you're like looking through their link tree, and my God, like, your website needs to be that repository to, like, answer all the information, all the questions that people have, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It makes a huge difference.
It does. Enormous. And it seems like unsexy to talk about website design compared to social media marketing, but it can net you that much more results than social media. Again, social media is such a freaking scam.
Yes, I know what you mean. Well, thank you so much. That was really awesome.
Oh, you are a doll.
I'd love for you to share where everyone can go check you out online, especially since you're not on Facebook and Instagram.
So my website's the place to be, leoniedawson.com. I have a free shit page with all the free shit under the sun, from coloring in pages to resources to help you grow your business. And then I also have newsletters as well, so you can hear from me once a week or whatever with new free shit that I've brought out for you.
Yes, I love your emails, I have to say. The roundup ones you do are awesome.
Yay.
One of the freebies I love on your website is, where is it? The one about the different ways you can market your business as well. I refer heaps of people there, because it's so helpful. It doesn't just need to be Facebook or Instagram. There's hundreds of ways you can do it.
And it's just so fun. Like, there's so many ways, and they can be potent and powerful and enjoyable. Like, you don't have to hate your life, and you don't have to hate your business.
Yes, that's such an awesome way to finish out.
Awesome. Oh, you're a babe. Thank you so much, Jessica. You're a champion.
That's okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on here today. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Many blessings to you.
Thank you.
Bye.